Hello, my name's Barry Morton. Welcome to video number 4, describing the planning, construction and operation of my Engage model railway Bromsgrove, set in the early 60s or late 50s, early 60s, depicting the Lickey incline and the banking practices, etc. at Bromsgrove station. Okay, so we've moved on quite a lot from where we were last time. You can see now I've got all the storage roads fitted. There are 7 of them, 7 storage roads, quite some complicated point work at the bottom there. Going into the 4 tracks coming out, and we've just started to lay Bromsgrove South Junction here. Okay, so looking at the track plan, where are we? We are about, here we are, we're just about at that region there, bit of track work there. So quite a lot still to do, and the important bit now, of course, because we're in the bit that's going to be viewable. I remember in I think it was the 2nd or 3rd video I talked about back scenes. I've had some thoughts about back scenes. I need to hide the storage roads in some way, so I'll probably have them halfway across the layout or something. I haven't completely decided. I haven't even touched where the incline is going to go at this end. Firstly, again, apologies for the mess. I start out really tidy, and then by, you know, midday, if I start in the morning, by midday it's just a complete shambles. I don't know why. I do put everything back, but honestly, anyway, you can see there's quite a bit being done. Quite happy with those storage roads. They're all connected. All the turnouts are powered by Cobalt turnout motors, and the storage road divided into blocks with occupancy detectors, so that it can be run from the computer with the software program Railroad & Co. Thought I'd talk a little bit about the components I'm using actually. So we'll start off, I said the Cobalt turnout motors. Well, here's a typical Cobalt motor, as you can see. Connections there. Let's just get it so I can see it. Here we are. Okay, connections, easy connect. Just press these little orange tag things and push your wire in. Does have to go quite a way in, but yeah, pretty good. There are other turnout motors available. I don't work for DCC Concepts, but there you go. Next thing, okay, so we mentioned the software Railroad & Co. The computer needs to know if a loco is on a certain part of the track. To achieve that, it does it by receiving a signal that it's occupied. Okay, and we have an occupancy detector. Okay, this is a BDL 168 made by Digitrax. It's occupancy detector module, and it has the capability of connecting 16 occupancy blocks to it, or blocks to it. And below that, a little add-on here, which is called a breakout board. I mean, basically, normally you would, on the BDL 168, you get this, okay, there it is. Normally you'd solder all your connections to that and then push it onto your BDL 168 just here. But you can purchase these breakout boards, which again you just push onto there. But instead of soldering, it turns it all into screws, which is so much easier. Yes, a little bit more expensive, but it's so much easier, so much easier. If you do get one of these, there are 2 sorts available. One with a single power input that controls all 16 at once, or there's another one available where each power goes to each one of these, and you basically use it as 4 zones. So in other words, if you've not got a massive large layout and you're dividing it into zones, then one of these will just do it for you. But with this being a large layout, I've actually got 4 power districts, so single power zone, all 16 connections. And then moving on, we've got our accessory decoder, which is a CML Electronics DAC20, capable of controlling 8 of the Cobalt point motors. Now there is quite a bit of information on the CML Electronics site about using this particular beast with Cobalt turnout motors. I found that if you use an external power supply, then for the output, then it's absolutely fine. You don't have to connect any resistors or anything else. It's all controls them as is. So just using an external power supply, but that can control 8 turnout motors. So pretty good. Again, there are other accessory decoders available. Right, moving on. One of the locos that used to pass through Bromsgrove on a frequent basis, almost daily basis, was the Devonian Express. Sankey Singics have brought out the titled train pack for the Devonian. Here it is. So I shall be using that on the locos that are probably a Jubilee, and then of course there's all the coach boards as well, either in chocolate and cream or maroon as they were. A couple of coaches there that I purchased ready for it. I think the Devonian Express actually, obviously it went 2 ways. I think one way was normally chocolate and cream, the other way probably all maroon coaches, although I have read that in some instances the restaurant car was the opposite way round, i.e. the chocolate and cream ones would have the maroon one and the maroon ones would have the chocolate and cream restaurant car, and in sort of, because they passed each other, they never caught up with each other, so to speak. So that's a possibility as well. We'll have to see, but I like authenticity, and that sounds pretty good. Incidentally, found the details for a rake actually of the Devonian. Got it down here in rough. As you can see, it's got a BSK, SK, second open, and then we got a restaurant unit, CK, CK, SK, SK, and finishing with a BSK. Now, the restaurant unit, in truth, it was what's called an RB, which was a restaurant buffet. None of the manufacturers have ever made an RB. They do mini buffets, they do restaurant units, restaurant first opens, which actually hasn't got a restaurant in it, it's just an open coach, but which is normally attached probably to a restaurant unit. But none of the manufacturers yet have brought out a restaurant buffet car, which would be the proper thing to having a restaurant buffet. I'm not sure of the actual internal differences, but just a point anyway. Looking down where I've done all the track, this is what I haven't used track pins at all throughout any of my track laying yet. I've stuck it all down with copy decks. What I do, I then use these pins which I push into the cork and then just tap a couple of taps with the hammer, and it seems to have the desired effect. Anyway, that's why it seems to be working okay today. I forgot to mention actually, going back to the Cobalt right up here. Okay, when you fit the Cobalt, underneath there's a sticky pad. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Here we go. Sticky pad sticks underneath the Cobalt, sort of. Let's have a look. Sorry, keep going off. About like that. Okay, and then, well, you can prepare the underside of the board by putting some varnish on or gloss paint or something, and then stick it on. And actually, once it's sat there for about a day, I mean, I'd put a couple of screws in like this, and then once it's sat there for a day, you can remove the screws and the sticky pad will hold it in place, and apparently it makes for less noise that way, although I don't find them noisy anyway. But I mean, being bomb proof, I just leave the screws in anyway. So and also you get little ballast sticky paper. You pull these papers off and put it underneath your motor, and it hides the hole. I'll give you an example here, something like that. It just hides the hole a little bit, and then obviously over the top of that you're going to be covering it with your own ballast anyway. Well, I am. So yeah, just to give you some idea. I'm just thinking what else we're doing. Well, the storage roads, as I say, they are divided into 7. The back 2 storage roads divided into 2. Sorry, actually the back 3 storage roads are all divided into 2, giving 6 yards there. And then the next one is in a 3 for shorter, I was thinking DMUs, that sort of thing. And then the last 3, or the 3 nearest me, are all single roads. I worked out that this one here, the 5th one, where are we here, the 5th one, I can get the Devonian, which is 10 coaches and a loco on that, so that's probably what that'll be for. And the other 2, I don't know, freight maybe or something, but anyway, all going to plan at the moment. I think when I actually did the layout planning on here, although it's pretty accurate, this was using AnyRail, it's pretty accurate, but I found that I'm about an inch further down than I actually wanted to be. In other words, I'm an inch nearer the edge of the board, which doesn't give me much to play with. So in other words, when I'm down here, I'm actually going to have a track here, and the goods building's going to be somewhere around here, and which is, it's going to be too near the edge for me. And I've decided I'm going to put a 3-inch extension on here, sticking out, which is going to be made up for me by Model Railway Solutions, who made the boards initially. So I'm going to put a 3-inch extension on it, but not just yet, not until everything's working really as I'd like it, and that's be the last thing I do anyway, because the next real thing I want to do, I want to get track laid, through the station laid, I want to get the through main lines done so that I can have a complete circuit, because just like everybody else, I want to run some trains and I want to run them in a complete circuit if I can. Plus it'll help with the running in, although I have bought a rolling road, yeah, so that's what I want to do there. What else? Yeah, I know. And the points at the back there, these 3 double slips, got 3 double slips in a row. Okay, they're controlled from a hex frog juicer. Nice piece of kit, hex frog juicer. Whew, you just like put one wire from the hex frog juicer to the frog of the slip, and that's it. It works. Everything else it does itself. However, if you are going through an electronic circuit breaker like I am, in other words, power comes out of my booster and then into a circuit breaker, which actually is a PSX4. Who makes those? Can't remember at the moment. PSX4 anyway, and it goes so it's, in other words, the power output for the DCC comes out of the PX4, and they're very sensitive, and so the hex frog juicer can sometimes pick up on that and can be a bit slow to change, or it might detect a short because it's getting confused. So I've run the power for the hex frog juicers directly from the booster, and it's worked a lot better actually. I've not really had any problems. Just have to make sure, I found on the double slips, that the points are changed, the tie bars are moving right over, and the rail goes over to the is it the stock rail, so make sure that it moves fully across on all of them, so you've got good contact. Other than that, yeah, everything seems to be going well. You know, I'm not rushing it, slow progress. I'm checking everything works first. You can see that there's gaps obviously where you do your rail joiners and your solder and that. I'm not bothering replacing the sleepers on the storage roads, but I have started to do it down, you know, down here, so obviously that will look a lot better. I've got a few to do there. Now at this point here, I'm just here is going to be a bridge called well, its nickname was Garrington's Bridge, but its proper name was Newton's Bridge. this is the well, this is the steel section for it. It's a Nightwing. I think it's a PN6 or something. Nightwing kit. Oh, heck of a job getting hold of these Nightwing kits now, because there's not many about. But yeah, so there's the steel bit, which I've, the girder side, bridge side, which I'm going to have. The rest of it, the brickwork, I'm going to scratch build. I've got some card, and just here I've got some Southeastern fine cast English bond brick sheets. I wanted to give it a bit of texture. I've had a long look at all the different brickwork and everything. I wanted to give it some texture, and I felt that the paper brick sheets, just, I don't know, I might be wrong. I'm not down on either side at the moment, but I felt like, having looked in the shops, I felt like the texture, and which meant I would be able to weather them better, I felt. I mean, yeah, you can weather brick sheets, paper, I know, but I just felt you could weather the texture ones that little bit more. But so I'm going to have to scratch build the brickwork, or the carcass and the brickwork for that, for Newton's Bridge. So you know, that's something that I'll be looking at doing quite earlier on, I think, because you know, you can get a bit waylaid down with track laying, and it does go on and on and on. And whilst I enjoy it, because I enjoy modelling, you know, in all aspects, track laying can be a bit of a, after a while, you know, it's a bit Groundhog Day. and of course we all want to be at that point where we get to the end, so we can start really getting into you know, our railway and what it's going to look like. I had some thoughts about the 7 storage roads at the back. You know, in the long term, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I mean, I've got some provision there. I could knock on a couple of turnouts and do some roads running down there. It's something I've thought about, and it's not inconceivable that I might need some more storage roads ultimately. Had some great help from 2 guys. One guy called Ian Tipper, another guy's called Darryl Lucas. They're ex-firemen workers on the Lickey Incline, and basically, obviously they were there when it ceased its operations in 1964. They've been able to help me I can't tell you how much, with photographs, etc. And incidentally, this September is the 50th anniversary of the cessation of activities, or cessation of steam banking activities at Bromsgrove, and it's also when the wagon, you know, the wagon works, etc., all closed down. Very sad, I think, that. But hey, you know, that's progress, I guess. So anyway, I'm just trying to think sort of on my feet really, and while I think there's anything else that I can show while I'm here. Well, I'm a big fan of the Titanic. A couple of books up there. I'm going off track here a bit. Big fan of the Titanic. I want to build a big model of the Titanic. I've got most of the bits and pieces, but one day. But hey, I digress. Okay, well, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope it's been informative for anyone who's you know, thinking of building anything in Engage. Obviously, you don't have to go to this extent. You know, I expect this to take me years and years. So, you know, if you, I think if it's your first layout, don't go too big. So, if you've got any questions, please, you know, ask them on the YouTube, or I'm sort of pretty active on the forums, most of the forums. So please, I'm on Facebook. So just go on ahead and ask away. And I thank everybody. I take this opportunity to thank everybody on all the forums and Facebook and you know, YouTube for everything I've learned, because I've learned so much over the time, you know, about modelling, about railways. I mean, who could have thought that you're actually doing railway modelling and you get to learn about Flemish bond and English bond and spreaders and headers, you know, all about brickwork. I can't believe that, that it would go that far, but it does, and it's enjoyable as well. So okay, cheers for now, bye bye.